Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by BlackRifleCoffee.com. Put down the water and grab a fucking drink.
Welcome to Drinkin Bros.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Alex Okafor, superstar defensive end for the New Orleans Saints.
I don't know about superstar, but defensive end, yes.
We're going to find out.
Let's go.
We're going to find out. We're here for the biggest game, I'd say, of the season so far.
Absolutely.
Saints versus Rams. It's big for two reasons for me. I got a little guy named Todd Gurley on my fantasy football team. Have you heard of him?
Okay, that's huge for you then.
Because you'll be going against him.
Okay.
So I thought I'd give you some Todd Gurley socks just in case. Just in case. This is little Todd right here. He's up for the MVP. You'll be going against him a lot on Sunday, my man. I'm just it's a gift from me to you. You're welcome.
If anything, I could repackage them, give them out as a Christmas gift or something.
But also, let's say you're drinking, because I know you're a big fan of H-Factor water, same as me. Let's just say you're drinking H-Factor water. I got a little something for the bottle for you, too. It's a little koozie, a little Todd Gurley koozie for you.
Extra, so extra.
Oh, so extra. I'm going to give this to Alex. Pop this on one of your cans for me and bring that back. I just want to see what little Todd's face looks like once it's really stretched out across the can. When you go up against a guy like that for Sunday's game, what's that? What is that like in the film room? The film room. Do you stare at that and say, "Holy shit! How do we stop this guy?"
Well, yeah. Todd Gurley as a player, he's like an elusive freight train.
Yeah.
So, in terms of statistics, they got the #1 rush offense in the league. We have the #1 rush defense in the league.
Yep.
So something has to give. You watch him on film, and you watch that offensive line on film, and his vision is so beyond incredible.
Yeah.
That you got to be gap sound within your defense, or he'll take advantage of it, and that's what you see the most on film.
It's crazy because I remember when he played for Georgia, and I thought he was great. Obviously, he had the ACL injury. Oh, look at that! Look at little Todd. Look at little Todd all stretched out on the can.
I'm mad that it fits so well on the can.
That's freaker. God, they make great. They've got all the NFL teams, by the way. They had Drew Brees socks, everything.
Okay.
But I like little Todd. I know that it fits so well on the can. No, but I looked at Todd Gurley in college when he was at Georgia, and he looked good, but he didn't look that big. He looks like he's twice the size now for some reason. When he got to the NFL, what happened to that dude?
Like I said, I only saw him on TV when he was at Georgia, so I couldn't, compare then and now.
Sure.
But he's definitely one of the bigger backs in the league. You don't see a combination of size, speed, balance, and just that all-around catching ability and skill set on a frame like that. Usually with a frame like his, he's like a one-cut guy or a downhill runner. No, he can do it all, and that's what makes him great.
A lot of ladies say that about me. On a frame and a cut like mine, they say, Ross, you can't do it. This is impossible that I'm going to meet another man like this the rest of my life. And I say, I know, I get it. I understand it.
I hear you, man.
He's a once-in-a-lifetime talent, same with me. But I'm looking forward to seeing the #1 rushing defense going against him and seeing which worlds collide. He's on my fantasy team. I'm sure all the players are sick of hearing about fantasy football players. But I can't not sit him out because you guys are #1. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I've got to root for him.
I mean, if that's what makes your team go, I can't fault you. But just don't be mad at us. We have a job to do, and
not at all.
We're gonna do it to the best of our ability on Sunday.
And I'll say this because we, on the show, we go to the biggest games every other week on the planet. I'm just looking forward to a great game. I'm sure you're looking forward to if it was 60-0, is that your dream as a player?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Listen, you play a team like the Rams. If we're able to blow them out 60-0, you can't dream of anything better than that. But as a player, those tight games and those memorable games, those are the moments that you miss when you're out the league. So I fully expect it to be a back and forth battle, and I'm sure it's going to come down to the last possession.
That's what I think too. And I know I don't know how close you guys follow the Vegas odds, but I think it's a 1.5 point spread right now. I mean, that's a field goal game, is what Vegas is predicting.
Right.
You probably don't follow that at all. Right? I know Todd Gurley. Speaking of Todd Gurley, he doesn't.
I was about to say
the last game he took a knee on us, and I was like, "No, I host a sports show."
I saw that on film, but
he blew the point spread.
Right,
he blew the over. Look, the fantasy football, he already had 36 points. I'm fine on the touchdown, but for everybody betting at home, I was like, "Oh no!"
As a player, it's hard to keep up with spreads, man. We got so much going on within the film room, within the playbook and practice. You know,
too
it's
tough,
just
right?
too hard to keep up with, man.
Because I've heard some other players say the opposite, where they're like, "We know, we know." Warren Sapp was just like, "I know, we knew this spread every week."
It's not in this organization. I couldn't tell you that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Speaking of the Saints organization, look, I'm a lifelong Falcons fan.
Right.
It's our biggest rival. But the Saints is one team, because we were talking before we went on air that Ohio State, Michigan.
Right.
I hate Michigan. I never hated the Saints, even though they were our biggest rival. You guys always played the game the right way, and I loved your players over the years. We're in Deuce McAllister's bar.
Right.
He was one of my favorites, even though we played for obviously my rival. What's that like, the Saints-Falcons rivalry for you?
Whew, man, it's intense, and it goes deeper than just football, man. I'm talking about the fans are ugly
Nuts.
with each other. Fans are crazy. We go to Atlanta, they come here. You know you're going to get the worst out of people. So it's an incredible rivalry. When it comes to NFL matchups, I don't think there's many rivalries better than that one right there. And, you know, we look forward to that opportunity in that game every chance we get.
Yeah, and I enjoy it as a fan, but you're right. I think the fans are rougher on each other than the players.
Absolutely.
Where you guys have, like, the Saints and Falcons have always been respectful for one another. In the stands, it's a different story. It's Bulls on parade. I mean, people are knocking each other out.
Right.
Especially down here.
Right.
It gets nasty down here, doesn't it?
It's ugly, but ugly in a good way, man. That's what you like to see, man, especially out here in New Orleans, man. I think that's what makes our team go. It's just the passion of our fans. So, you know, if you're an opposing team or an opposing fan base coming to the Superdome, you're going to be unwelcome. And we're going to make it uncomfortable for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's no joke here. Do you enjoy this as opposed to where you were drafted?
Arizona?
Yeah.
I mean, I like each place for different reasons. I love where I'm at right now, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But at the same time, I'm not going to knock Arizona at all. We had some of our best years out there in Arizona under Bruce Arians. So, I mean, just different memories for each team, man. But like I said, I'm here with the Saints, and I'm excited because I feel like we got just as good of a chance as anybody to win this Super Bowl.
Yeah, because it's one of those things. The reason why I asked that question was I've been to Arizona. I've seen games, Cardinals games. The fans are not the same as Saints fans.
Right.
There's something about, I would imagine, something about hearing those fans and how rabid they are in the stands that makes you want to play even harder.
Right, absolutely. And I think the biggest difference is that Saints fans, most of them, 80% of them, truly from New Orleans. Diehard fans, grew up here, you know, they're saving up for a year just to come to one of these games. Arizona, if you've ever been out there, it's one of those places where people retire, you know, a lot of people move to Arizona, people went to school there, so, you know, they just stay within the city or whatnot. So a lot of those fans, the Cardinals isn't their first, their first team. So, there's positives and negatives to that. But like I was saying, here in New Orleans, you have diehard, passionate fans, and they bring it on game day just as hard as the players do.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking about bringing it on game day, your college team brought it on game day.
UT, baby.
Ooh. Man, I shot a movie down there, lived there for about around 4 months on that campus. It was one of the best college campus experiences I've ever been around. I've been to a lot of colleges.
Right.
Loved UT. I love when they're a great program, and they seem like they're back this year.
Right. And like you said, man, whenever UT is playing well, it's kind of like the Cowboys. It's good for college football.
It's great for college football.
It's great for college football. Yeah, I think we're on the right track. Tom Herman had his work cut out for him. I know we started out with an ugly loss against Maryland, but the way he responded and the way the team bounced back, I mean, that says something within its own. And I know we dropped one last week, which is still eating at me.
Yeah.
But, we got a big one this week, and we can make a lot of people forget about that last game if we get this dub.
We had a guy who played for Texas, Jeremy Hills, who now works for On It Academy.
Yeah.
He was on the show a couple weeks ago, and I asked him, I was like, how long did it take you to meet McConaughey? How long was it? A week?
Are
2
you
weeks?
saying,
Oh, yeah, now I'm asking you.
Listen,
Jeremy said it was like 2 weeks. He was
I was
like,
about to say, it's not long at all.
He's around a lot, right?
Listen, Matthew McConaughey is a diehard Texas fan in general, and it's great for the program. He's not just there on game days to soak up, the shine and all that. No, he's at practice.
Yeah.
He's at practice. He's around the facility. He talks to the team, so you really get to know him, and that's what makes that place special.
It is. It is. Who are your besties from back in the day playing?
Who that I play with? Kenny Vaccaro. He's one of the reasons I'm here as a Saint now.
Really? No kidding.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Was it Mac Brown? Was that the Mac Brown era for you?
Mac Brown era, man.
Are you down with Mac Brown, or what were your thoughts on him?
Oh, man.
Most of the fans
Yeah.
go the other way on Mac Brown. I'm not going to force you into an answer.
Right? No. I mean, I already had an answer already on my mind. But Coach Brown, listen. Coach Brown is one of those, great, legendary coaches. And as good as he was on the field coaching, he's even better as a human being. He held players accountable. He set a prime example, and I love him for that. I think with the program, I think as he was getting older into his later years, I think Coach Brown was one of those situations where people thought the grass would be greener on the other side.
Right.
And we had a lot of bad years, man, and we're just now getting back to where we were. But I feel like if Coach Brown was still there, we wouldn't have had as big of a, big of a dip and as big of a non-competitive tenure as we had.
Yeah, because you got Tom Herman now, who is Ohio State's offensive coordinator, and he seems to have righted the ship. You guys have looked pretty good, all season except for that last game, obviously. But I think Texas has got some great years ahead, and I'm amped for it. Did you go back a lot? Yeah, I
went back during the bye week and saw the Baylor game.
Oh, you did the Baylor
So
game?
that's the good part about being at UT. They really embrace the family atmosphere. So you make one call, tell them you're coming in town, and that's the only call you have to make. The rest of it, you got an itinerary set for game day.
It's how fun is that school?
That's what I'm saying. They make it so easy and so warming when you come back to the program, and I definitely appreciate that.
Do you miss it? If you could trade the NFL and go back to college again, would you do it?
Man,
it's a tough answer.
In terms of experiences, friendships, all of that, absolutely. But then I'd have to empty out my bank account. So
I know, right?
So then again, which one?
Yeah.
But
you love the bank account.
Put aside the money. College football is where it's at.
It's the best, right?
Yes.
It's the best of all time.
Yep.
It's so funny you say the bank account. Do you know everybody else's bank accounts? Because we had a player on. I'm not gonna say who it was. Off air, he told me. I said, "Hey, do you really like playing for this team in this city and whatever?" Off air, he was like, "No, but they paid me the most, and I'm going there." He goes, "I didn't even buy a house in that city. I rent, and as soon as it's over."
That's terrible.
I know.
That's terrible.
I'm not gonna say who it is.
I could probably guess the city, but I'm not gonna do that. But continue.
What would be your first guess? Jacksonville?
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Not Jacksonville.
I'm still young, man. I have a lot of years left of my career.
You do.
Those cities might need me later in the past. So let's keep this conversation rolling. In the future, absolutely.
But when you're getting drafted and you're sitting around draft night, there's got to be teams where you're like, man, I hope they don't pick me.
No, I mean,
because Arizona at least is Arizona. Where you're like, all right, great, sunny. All those workout facilities are out there. They've got some of the best training and programs there is on the planet. So at least you're safe there. But if you're sitting there watching it at home and you're like, oh, Minnesota.
I'll tell you this. You would think that's the first instinct that you would think, oh, these teams that are awful, I don't want to play for them. But honestly, as a college kid coming out, it's kind of like when you're being recruited. You're living your dream, and you're like, oh, even though this team went, 3-13 last year, I'm here now. This draft class is here now. We could turn this thing around. It's just like getting recruited in college, man. You go to a school, and you don't go to a school because you think you're going to be bad, even though the team is bad. You come in thinking that y'all are going to be good. So I think when I got drafted to Arizona, I think they might have won like 6 games when I got drafted. It was 4 games, actually.
Oh, really?
4 games the year before I got drafted. And I came in, and that didn't make a difference to me. Well, I think they had 3 different starting quarterbacks the year before I got there. But once I got there, I was like, okay, let me look at the roster. This is who we have. I think this will be our year. Yeah. And it was. We went 10-6 that year. So,
man, let me ask you this. Throughout the week, do you watch the Thursday night games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you watch all the other teams? Just to scout them or just as a fan?
I'm a football fanatic. I'm a sports fanatic in general. So whenever specifically football or basketball is in TV, I'm a watch. So, like you said, when I'm sitting at home watching the games, I view it from a fan standpoint.
Yeah.
I view it from a fan standpoint. So I'm admiring what the players are doing. I'm admiring how the game is going, the score, the way it's played. But when I'm in the classroom, that's when you kind of analyze the X's and O's. So there's 2 different viewing experiences.
Did you watch the 49ers-Raiders game the other night?
That was the one Thursday night game I wasn't able to catch. Last night, right?
Yeah.
Last night. I heard it was ugly.
Yeah, you missed it?
It was ugly.
You missed it? You just couldn't make that one?
I just couldn't make that one.
1-16 versus 1-7?
I couldn't, man.
It was brutal. I threw it on for fantasy reasons, obviously. I got George Kittle, the tight end, who's lit people up all year round. Okay. And there was a third-string quarterback, Nick Mullins.
I heard he had a hell of a game.
Destroyed it. I'm talking like Hollywood movie script thing.
Right. Okay.
And even I got caught up in it, and I was like, man, this is the worst game on the planet. But that's what I love about sports and NFL and all that stuff. Like there could be a night where a Nick Mullins comes in and absolutely destroys everybody.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what you got to love about sports, man. You never know somebody's situation. You never know what motivates them. Even though they might not be the head honcho or the top dog, don't ever underestimate anybody because it could be anybody's day.
Yeah.
And it was his last night.
Since you're in New Orleans, do you ever go to any Pelicans games?
Yeah, I went to a couple last year. I haven't been able to make any this year.
Are you friends with Davis? Anthony Davis
I've seen him around. I don't know him. He doesn't know me by name, but obviously I know of him.
I don't know if you guys all bro out because you're all professional athletes.
The way it is our seasons overlap a little bit, but for the most part, our seasons are pretty spread apart. So we're not really all at the facility at the same time. Like we'll catch him around this time. This is like the time where you might cross paths, but other than that, you don't really see each other at the facility.
All right, yes, I didn't know if it was all like, all right, cool, we're all famous and let's do that. That's kind of how Hollywood is, where it's like, hey, you're famous, I'm famous, let's hang out.
Also, you know, NFL schedules taxing, NBA schedules taxing. In the off season, everybody goes home to where they're from, so you'd be surprised. There's not many opportunities to get out and hang with, you know, other people in general.
Where's your hometown?
Back in Pflugerville. It's like 20 minutes north of Austin.
Oh, really?
Didn't have to go far from school at all.
Living the dream.
Absolutely.
I love Texas. I love Austin in particular. It's a great city.
Absolutely.
One of the best cities in America, I think.
I would agree. I just purchased a spot out there last year, and every chance I get, I can't wait to get back home.
Yeah? What's it like when you get that first contract? Is everybody hitting you up? Family, friends?
No, because you'd be surprised just because family and friends know that. I mean, nobody's delusional. You got a list of people you got to take care of. When you get that first contract, obviously, parents are first.
Parents are first. Parents are always first. Yeah.
Siblings are second.
Yeah.
And then you go a little bit outside the immediate family. So unless your homies are delusional or just bold, they're not going to be the first people to ask you to break them off, man. They're going to wait it out a little bit. Maybe a couple years into the deal, they might, throw something at you.
Do you guys talk about that in the locker room of like, yo, you're not going to believe this.
We swap stories.
My homie told me
we swap
he wanted
stories.
this. Yeah, he wanted a car, or he wanted this, or he had something against me in the past, and you're like, God damn it, man.
Yeah, no, and it's not really about like outrageous like demands or anything like that. It's more of just like getting irritated if like you do help somebody out and they come back for more when they haven't paid.
And you're just like, bro,
they haven't paid you back.
I just gave you a Lambo. Like, get out of my face.
We're not taking it to those extremes. That was extreme right there. I don't know anybody that's giving out Lambos, and if they're giving out Lambos, somebody help them out.
I've got one for you. So as a kid, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, diehard Falcons fan, like I said. Andre Rison was doing that shit all the time. Like as a kid growing up, where it was just like, man, he was giving out. He was one of those guys who was always wearing sunglasses too, like out in public, like even to his schools.
He was one of those guys.
Yeah. But like to schools where you're just like, man, you're in elementary school, and he rolls in a suit and sunglasses, and you're like, bro. Even as like a third grader,
he didn't take him off when he got inside.
No, and then Left Eye burned down his house.
I remember that.
I was in. So I used to pick up my best friend for school, and I drove through the neighborhood the morning in that neighborhood to pick up my best friend. And as it was burning down, I was like, man,
you could see like the flames and the smoke,
all of it. And so we went through the ashes afterwards. Because like as kids, high school kids, we were like, I wonder what was in there.
Right.
She threw. I don't know if you know this. She threw everything in the bathtub. Clothes, CDs, everything, and then treated that like it was a fire pit. And then that's how it lit up. Yeah.
Wow.
And we went through it as a kid.
So while it was burning, she was just continuing to throw stuff into it. That's
and the
crazy.
Neighbors, all the white neighbors were out, and they were like, "Oh my God, that's
insane.
We can't believe this house burned down or whatever." Andre didn't give a fuck. He was just like, "Well, I'll get another one, I guess." That was Andre Rison, though. Like that dude never cared.
Right.
So that was one where I was just like, man. Like, he was always doing extravagant things. You knew he was going to go broke.
Right. Well, lucky in our day and age, we've had a couple documentaries. We've had a couple,
I was just going to ask, did you watch it?
I did watch it. We've had documentaries. We've had ceremonies as a rookie that,
Is it Herm Edwards? Is it Herm Edwards?
I don't know if he was talking about financials at the rookie symposium, but he was there. But, we have all these different avenues to inform us on how to save money. Doesn't work for everybody, but at least everybody's a little more conscious of it than they were back then.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to walk around the locker room now and say, hey, guys, there's enough out there that if you make these mistakes, you make them on your own.
Right,
like, I can't help you out.
You've been warned. You've heard stories.
Yeah.
Learn from the people that have done it and made the mistakes, rather than learn from yourself.
What's something you want to do after football? Like, do you want to own a giant water company or something like that?
Man, that's probably the hardest question you can ask me today, man. I was just talking to one of my teammates, Sheldon Rankins, about it the other day, and honestly, I have no idea what I want to do after football.
Really?
I don't say that as a bad thing, just because I know that I could get into some things and I have ideas, but I just haven't pinpointed one thing that I could get into.
Well, you're a young guy.
Right. I feel like I still have a lot of years left and a lot of time to figure it out. But, I mean, let's say I couldn't play tomorrow and I had to do something, and it could be anything. I'd probably say, like I said, I'd want to be commentator, the typical have fun after football, talk sports, talk about what I know.
Yeah.
Either whether it's on TV or radio, something like that. So
ownership, own a product, a consumable product. That's what we always say.
Right.
One of our sponsors, all my best friends own a company called Black Rifle Coffee. They crush, and it's own a consumable product.
Right.
That's
no. Like I said, even with this HVAC, I've looked up numbers on this, and I mean, it's probably too late to get in the game now. But even stuff like that, just a simple
Sandra,
product.
I asked the other day. I was like, "Yo, man, is it too late to get in?"
Right.
On that?
Even a simple product like this is just something that would be huge if you can get into it early.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. But obviously, the hardest thing is the risk of it. You don't know if it's going to blow up like this. So
exactly.
You just got to do your research on it.
Yeah, and like you take a guy like LeBron. To me, I think he took that Lakers deal for the afterlife.
Right.
I don't think he really thinks he can win a title there. It's my personal opinion. Because if you look at his, like, again, I'm a Hollywood guy. I know his production schedule that's coming up. I mean, he's got the shop on HBO.
Right.
He's doing Space Jam 2. I mean, he's got, I think, 4 movies in some form of production.
Right.
LA is obviously the place to do that. I mean, he's setting up his afterlife now.
No doubt. No, he's definitely moving to LA was definitely a 2-for-1 for him.
Yeah,
definitely get to play ball for one of the most storied franchises, and at the same time, extend your off the field activity and in endeavors or whatnot. So I think it was good. I think you're wrong about him not being able to win there.
You think he won a championship there?
I think he can get one. I don't think he can get more than one, but I think he can get one. It depends who he gets this offseason. This offseason will tell everything.
Yes, I say this offseason, but I also say his age. I mean, he's, 35 now?
I think LeBron's one of those players that's going to go out gracefully. I don't see his production. I don't see his production dropping
Kobe
much.
was my favorite player of all time.
Right.
Of all time.
Right.
And I said the same thing. I was like, it'll never happen to Kobe, and then it happened to Kobe.
The reason I say that for LeBron is because even if his athleticism dies out on him, even if he can't buy a bucket to save his life, at the bare minimum, he can still be an elite point guard. He can still be a Ben Simmons at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So,
I don't. With Ben Simmons, he doesn't win a championship for. He's got to have pieces around him.
Right, absolutely.
So, in what I've heard is with LeBron in particular, a lot of these free agents like Jimmy Butler and them, they didn't want to come. Kawhi Leonard didn't want to come.
I see that, and I don't see that as a knock on LeBron. I see that as
his age. Me personally, but
I don't. The way I see it is guys like Kawhi, Jimmy. Like, what do I look like linking up with the best player in the world? Like, after Kevin Durant got all that heat for going to the Warriors, I don't want to be that next guy that gets the heat for linking up with the best player in the world. Competitively, you want to go against the best. You want to beat the best. So I don't take it as a knock on LeBron. I take it as competition.
Speaking of which, do you get or players, not yourself, but do they get jealous when it's about Drew Brees and the Saints?
No, not at all. Because we know Drew is the engine. We know he runs this train.
Is he a good dude in real life?
Yeah, he's great people, man. One of the best dudes you'll ever meet. So
how about Kamara?
AK? That's what we call him. AK. He's good people too, man. Hell of a player, man.
He's got the bone earring in.
He got a look to him.
He does.
He got a nice, different look to him.
Young Thug. I don't know if you're a Young Thug fan. I am.
I've gotten Young Thug. I've gotten Lil Uzi. A couple of these rappers, man. But he's definitely pulling the look off and making it work.
He is. Easy breezy, beautiful thugger girl. And I got him. I've got him on my fantasy team as well.
Right.
Destroying people's lives in fantasy.
I can see that.
And again, I'm sure you're tired of hearing about it.
Say, what type of league do you play in where you can get Todd Gurley and Alvin Kamara?
I don't. So it's 2 different leagues.
Okay,
I have to run through the show. We run 4, and they're called Champions Leagues. And it's mandatory that you had to win a championship before that. Like these other people, though, I feel like I'm playing against are children. Like it's like giving Quaaludes to midgets. Is what I like. I'm destroying them across the board. Because I told everybody, the audience, we did a way too early fantasy football prediction show. My sleeper of the year was Pat Mahomes.
Okay,
lit it up. And I had the first pick in the draft, so I took Gurley.
Okay.
I took Pat Mahomes in like the 7th. Those two, and then Adam Thielen.
Wow.
Thielen was my dude.
Is this all on one team?
All on one team. Because Thielen's
not even
a white
fair. Come
receiver,
on, man.
but here's the thing: Thielen's a white receiver.
Right.
Nobody thought he was going to have another year, so they were like, "Ah, that guy's done." Pat Mahomes, young, he hadn't played, he hadn't started until this year.
Right.
So
There's a lot of unknowns about him.
Yeah. Now Gurley was a surefire one or two, either him or Le'Veon Bell.
Right.
When you look at it, speaking of Le'Veon Bell, when you look at a Le'Veon Bell not playing this year, what do you think of that?
Man, I look at it as like this, especially at the running back position, man. He gotta look out for his own future. He gotta look out for himself, especially at that position. He's the motor to that offense, and the fact that they didn't take care of him like he deserves. I'm always gonna be with the player.
Yeah.
One of my good friends, Earl Thomas, got the short end of the stick in that situation, in the same exact situation. So I don't blame Le'Veon at all, especially being at the position that he plays.
Yeah. And like, I don't blame Earl Thomas either. And when he flicked off the sidelines on his way out of there, I thought that was well deserved across the board. Because I mean, when you're not paying somebody like that or bickering over a contract, especially somebody who's been that great for that long, I mean, again, a one play can end it.
Right.
He's not going to get a huge contract in the offseason.
That's what I'm saying. Like we all know he's the best free safety in football.
Yeah.
He's a generational type talent and player, and he helped get the Seahawks to 2 Super Bowls and win 1. So for them to not take care of him in that aspect, in that regard, and just be so cold and cold-blooded with him, it was unbelievable to me, and I feel bad for him. But I know he'll bounce back.
It's a ruthless business, isn't it?
It is. It's a business, man. And, I mean, we all know that going into it. It just sucks that when the player views it as a business, the player gets shitted on. But when the organization views it as a business, fans are always on their side, which makes sense because fans are fans of the team, not the players. So
sure. I mean, I will say this. After doing a sports show and all that other stuff, like I tend to side more with the players afterwards. Because it is just a meat market, essentially. Of like, hey, great, next man up. I mean, James Conner killing the game this year. It's like a lot of fans online on Twitter are lighting Bell up, saying, "I hope he doesn't come back. We don't need him anymore." And the Steelers have recovered, and it's like, you're Le'Veon Bell sitting at home going, "Shit, I didn't think that was going to happen."
I mean, he didn't think that would happen, but at the same time, he's going to get his money. We know what he can do, especially at the running back position. Running backs, you want as little miles on your body as possible. It's not one of those positions where you have to get into rhythm. You can plug a guy in at running back right away, and he can produce. So, next offseason, the team will pick him up. He'll get the dollar amount he wants, and he'll ball out.
Yeah, because he's, 27 now. He's like, as a running back, you hit that wall at 30. He'll get one more big contract, and he's good to go. Do you think about that in your mind? Like, hey, here's my age. Here's my next contract. I've got to go as hard as I can because the next one's probably going to be your biggest, right?
Right. So
is that on your mind already?
No, it's just the way I see it with me. I know if I stay healthy, everything I want, I'll be able to get. And that's the thing in this league, man. Health is wealth in this league. So as long as you can stay healthy and you're available, somebody will need you, somebody will want you. And that, I mean, assuming you're playing well. Yeah. So, that I'm not worried about that. That will take care of itself as long as I stay healthy.
Yeah, the only guy who's going to play until he's 100 years old is Frank Gore. I'm convinced if the apocalypse happened, there would be maybe like 3 roaches, and Frank Gore would be still running the football somewhere on this earth, and everybody would be dead. That guy is 90 years old, and he's not going anywhere.
He is. He still looks good, too. I'll tell you that.
Great.
He still looks good.
Still looks great. Have you guys played Miami this year?
We haven't. But we've
good luck running into Frank Gore.
We've seen him on film, and it's
crazy.
Every time we see him on film, man, we're like, uh-oh. There goes Granddaddy. But that's out of respect, though. Whenever, I know. In this league, if you can get called Granddaddy, that's a sign of respect.
Same, man.
You want to be the old man in this business.
Yeah. It's what, a lifespan of 3 years is the average?
Absolutely.
For an NFL player? Good for Frank.
Right.
Shit. He's still doing it.
Killing it, too.
Killing it. Are you married at all?
No, I have a girlfriend, not married.
You have a girlfriend? What's it like living in a city like New Orleans when you're a star player? Oh, there was a heavy sigh there.
No, not.
It's got to be amazing, right?
No, I'm older now than I was back in the day. So
how old are you? What,
27.
27, yeah.
27, a little bit older. So my lifestyle has slowed down a little bit. But during the season, I'm locked in anyways. You can't get into too much trouble during the season anyways. During the off season, I go back to Texas, so it's hard for me to answer that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I'm asking. We had Freddie Mitchell on the show a few weeks ago. Freddie had no problem. He brought a white and a black girl to the show. Dead serious. And he goes, I'm fucking them both at the end of the night. And I was like, God damn it, Freddie.
Legendary.
Freddie Mitchell never lies.
Legendary.
Legend, dude.
Man.
The Fred X, I told him, I was like, you're born in the wrong era. If you were just 5 years to the right, you would have made $100 million, and then you could have really blown it out as Fred X.
Would have had a TV show and everything.
I love that guy. He's the best.
Right.
Who's your favorite player as a fan? Like, if you didn't have to play against him and you weren't competing against him for a Super Bowl title, who's your favorite player that you like to watch?
Man, it has to be a defensive end because that's the position I play. So growing up, I always idolized Julius Peppers. And the fact that he's still he's one of those guys
amazing.
that you feel like he can play forever.
Yeah.
So, every time I get to play against him, man, it's an honor. And he's definitely one of my all-time favorite players in the league.
Julius Peppers is great. Let's go all-time. All-time, who's your dude?
All-time.
Any era you can pick.
Any era. I'm going to have to venture away from defensive end then. As a kid, I think everybody's favorite player, especially around my age, everybody's favorite player growing up was Randy Moss.
I love watching Randy Moss.
Randy Moss was like the Allen Iverson of basketball, man. He was like the cool, unstoppable force that everybody wanted to be like. So Randy Moss is probably my all-time favorite player.
Man, he was a blast to watch. I love Randy Moss.
Incredible. So fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, I know you got a huge weekend. I'm going to ask you one question before you get out of here. Do the Saints win the Super Bowl this year?
I think so. In this game, anything can happen.
Yes.
As long as we stay healthy, stay humble, take it one game at a time, I don't think there's anything that can stop us from winning the Super Bowl this year.
I don't either. And look, you just traded for Eli Apple.
Right. Which was a huge move for us.
Huge move for you guys. I think he's great. He just got stuck in a bad situation.
Absolutely.
There.
I think we'll definitely bring out the best in him.
And you have now, I believe it's 80 players from The Ohio State University on your team.
79.
It's crazy, right?
Right.
God damn, we're good. How do we not win more titles than just one?
Oh, man.
You guys have our...
I think our whole back end secondary is from Ohio State.
They are.
We got young guys, we got OGs, like we got guys all across the board from Ohio State.
Michael Thomas, Ohio State,
it's ridiculous, man.
Man, look, man, you've been a blast to hang out with. I appreciate you sharing some time on the biggest game of the year with us on Drinkin' Bros. Best of luck, and I look forward to seeing you play on Sunday.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.